Tonight, what I thought we would do is something simple. And by simple, I mean simple in theory, but extraordinarily hard in practice. Because I'm against doing easy things. Anyone can do easy things, but we're not anyone. We're here. And I believe that anyone who finds me is up for a challenge because I'm a challenge creator. It's generally how I teach and what I do. And so I would like to do tonight is kind of the beginning of insight practice. So I separate meditation into two sections, two categories, and there's many of them, but I separate them in two. The first is concentration. The golden rule for concentration is your ability, or what? Not golden rule. What is it? The gold standard. The gold standard for concentration is your ability to focus on your object of meditation without distraction. And to even improve your concentration is to be able to maybe focus on different types of objects of meditation. Maybe use a mantra, maybe use the breath, maybe use a candle flame, maybe you use other things. This is concentration. It's an incredibly useful skill for a lot of things in life. Now, the second stage of things are insight. What insight meditation does is it's when you peer within your perception and you attempt to deconstruct how your mind functions, your awareness functions, your perception functions. And the reason why we do this is because as we learn more and more about how we function, we then can reinterpret how we analyze the world. So I always use this example like a mechanic who breaks apart a car and then understands all the pieces individually and puts together the car, understands the car far differently than myself, who just looks at a thing that says that has four wheels and it rolls on the ground magically, right? A person who understands the pieces individually can understand the whole far different than an onlooker. What we're doing is we're doing the same thing, both meditation and our mind and our perception. One of the first stages of insight is to be able to separate sensations into different categories. Today we're going to begin that. The easiest way to do it, and the first stage of how to do it, in my opinion, is to be able to separate physical sensations from mental sensations. And I can teach you how to do this very, very quick. The difficulty and the nuance is being able to do it yourself for a long period of time. What's fortunate, though, is once you can do it, you'll almost never be able to undo doing it. It's kind of like riding a bike. Once you understand it, you put it together mentally, and then you can always do it. So if you will, let's just take a second, and let's put our hands on our chest, or if you want your stomach, whatever you feel more comfortable with. As you inhale, I just want you to focus on the physical sensations. That's not your thoughts. The thoughts are up here. The physical sensations are the actual rising and falling of the flesh, the expansion of the lungs, etc. Let's take a couple breaths and realize these physical sensations. And try to avoid the mental ones. That can be done, that's easy. But now let's look at the mental sensations of the exact same practice. What's happening is, inside my head while I'm doing this, I'm thinking, I'm breathing, or my chest is expanding, or look at all that air move around. There's the mental sensations of you realizing or thinking about something. And what we're going to do in today's practice is we're going to begin separating the physical sensations of the stomach, let's do the stomach, and the mental sensations in the head. And the way that we're going to do that is for the first 5 minutes we're going to focus explicitly on the physical sensations of the stomach, of its rising and falling. And then we're going to spend 5 minutes focusing just on the mental sensations. And then we're going to spend the last 5 minutes kind of combining them, seeing which one causes the other. Now, the best way to do this, in my opinion, is let's place them somewhere. The physical sensations, I want you to place them right in your stomach. They're all the way down here, right here. And your mental sensations, how do you place right up here on top of your head? So when you're seeking out the physical sensations, think them up, find them down there, and the mental sensations up here. And then together, the last 5 minutes, we're going to feel the cycle, the physical causing the mental sensations, and how it just cycles around and around. It's that simple. That's the practice. So let's begin. And if you're joining late, the instructions are over here, and we can do that. So let's begin practicing. This time I'm going to use music. And if the music is too loud, tell me and I'll soften it. Or if it's too quiet, raise your volume. Or tell me and I'll raise it. But let's begin. This is my favorite meditation track. It's kind of a little bit peculiar. But when you're ready, what I would like to do is just to sit down. In this case, it doesn't really matter what posture you use. We're just trying to relax the body. So if you want, you can do a little bit of a stretch. You can stretch your lower back, your upper back, shoulders, arms, whatever makes you feel comfortable. It doesn't really matter. And what I would like to do, I'd like to begin just taking a moment to breathe. Not yet with the practice in mind, but with in mind to just kind of settle ourselves into the idea of practicing and to prepare ourselves for the 15 minutes of what will be harder work. So when you're ready, let's just begin inhaling and exhaling. It doesn't matter how long, it doesn't matter if your mouth is open or closed. Just sit comfortably and breathe comfortably for a moment. And as we inhale, I'd like for us to take a moment and be thankful to ourselves for showing up today to meditate together as a community. Be thankful to ourselves for all that we've done today. We should also be forgiving to ourselves for all the mistakes and errors that we make on a daily basis, and we should try to reinterpret them as a way to move forward in a positive way. Life, like meditation, is a practice. It's not something we accomplish in a minute. It's not something we accomplish in a day, month, or year. It's something that life takes an entire lifetime. It's why we're born, it's why we die. And we accomplish what we need to. We should be patient with us, just as the world is patient with us. And with the next inhale, I'd like for us to breathe into the abdomen, into the stomach, tummy, whatever you want to call it. And just inhale and exhale. Try to feel those physical sensations. If it helps you, put your hand on your stomach and feel it rising and falling until you can do it without your hand there. Or keep it there the entire time. Maybe it gets tired. But let's take 5 minutes. Let's just feel the physical sensations. If we find ourselves distracted in thought, just say distraction, distraction, distraction. Return back to the physical sensations. It may help you to just keep saying, physical, physical, physical in your head. Whatever it takes to help you concentrate on those singular sensations. again, we're focusing on the physical sensations as arising and the falling of the stomach, the abdomen. Let's stay focused. Now let's begin our second part. I'd like for us to move our attention away from the physical sensations of the breath and into the mental ones. The way that this looks is every time that you experience the physical sensation of the rising and falling and you have a thought that says, look at that, it's rising, it's falling, it's rising, it's falling. I want us to pay attention just to these mental sensations if we can for the next 5 minutes. If we've become distracted, let's return back to the breath. We're noticing with our mind the mental sensations of the rising and falling of the abdomen. They are slightly detached from the physical ones. The physical ones are down here in the stomach, the mental ones are up here in the head. mental sensations, that's where all the talking in our head occurs. It's where our thinking occurs. Let's notice this as quickly as we can. We can notice our thinking more than one time per second. Thinking, 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 thinking. Rising, 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 falling, 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 falling. And now, let's begin the third section of this practice. We're going to connect the physical to the mental sensations. The physical sensations are down here in the stomach when we rise and we fall the abdomen. The mental sensations are when we're noticing it or thinking about it. What I'd like for us to do is try to focus on both of these at the same time, and they will begin to link and connect and cycle. This is hard, but once you can do it, you'll always be able to do it. It's a big forehead. Again, this can be difficult. If we've been distracted and one of just the two sensations or something else, let's return. Try to find this cycle that connects the physical to the mental sensations around and around. And for the last 2 minutes, I'd like to give you a tip. One of the easy ways to connect this is to kind of imagine that you're observing everything above your thoughts. So you have the physical sensations in your stomach, the mental in the head. Then the observer is what overhangs, watching everything that's occurring. Up from above, everything makes itself a little bit more clear. Let's pull these physical and mental sensations to observer and see what that looks like. So with that, let's begin relaxing a little bit. Bringing our breath inwards. We've successfully done 15 minutes of this practice. It's not so easy. Let's return our breath to normal, our posture to normal. Try to somewhat relax. And also take a moment and thank yourself for completing the practice today. We do this every night, 10 p.m. Eastern. We'll talk for the next 30 minutes about your individual practice, your experience, ideas, a theory about meditation. If you're new, I'd love to hear your story and what you're interested in. I can maybe provide resources. If you're on Twitch, please click the follow button, wherever it is. It does me a big favor. It allows us to reach more people and to teach more people, I believe, healthy skills in life. And thank you again very much. I'll be here to chat for the next 30 minutes. How is that for everyone? Bluntman 421. You can say what you want. You won't really hurt my feelings. Your opinion means nothing to me. Candace, I'll link you right now. That's the name of it on YouTube. I saved it years ago, but then it got deleted, so it was kind of sad, but luckily I was able to recover it somehow. Zephaniah says, douse of honesty with myself mentally with that one. We always have to be honest with ourselves. The only one who gets hurt are us when sometimes we're not trying to be dishonest. Sometimes the world is just confusing. But the world always makes sense of itself in the end. It'll work out. I'm not worried. So anyone else have any questions about their practice, our practice that we just did, practice in general? As long as it's meditation focused, I'm interested. Or in the concept of what that is. Zeph, it's my pleasure. You're always welcome here. It brings me great joy for you to be here. Let's go through quick Twitch chat and see who I don't know. Active Energy, welcome. Apricot Droopfruit, welcome again. I always appreciate you coming. Bloodluster, welcome. Community Showcase, welcome. Electrical Longboard, that's a great name. Welcome. Eswin Faka, welcome. Everyone. Victor says, if we're never able to see both the mental and physical sensations happen in tandem, will we have knowledge of mind and body? It just takes a little longer. You'll eventually be able to see it. The trick is like this. So the trick is kind of spatial. You put the physical sensations down here in the stomach, and you put the mental sensations up here kind of in your head, and then you kind of place yourself as an observer above everything. And what you are is you're just kind of seeing this cycle and process. Like imagine that, your body is a gear house and you have one gear in your stomach and one in your head. And there's just a chain rotating around and around and around it again. And you're above it all watching. That's what it's like. Like a bicycle. Exactly, like a bicycle. It gets easier with practice. This is a hard practice. By hard, I mean it's difficult to master. But once you master it, it's somewhat revolutionary in how you consider the world. And then there's more complicated practices after, which do the same. Hard, yes, but very attainable. But everything in life is hard. The only things that are easy are generally not worthwhile. At least I found that to be true. So Victor is typing. Let's see what he says. And again, there are a few viewers here on Twitch that I have yet to see before. Every single night at 10 p.m. we do this. Generally, there's a meditation at 10 till about 10:30 time. And from 10:30 to 11, there's a discussion as long as there are questions. And we talk about individual practice, group practice, problems people may be having with practice. Eventually, we solve them all. Victor says, where did you get this exercise and what's the next one? Where did I get it? I think I made this one up, but it's based on general meditation theory. I mean, like, knowledge of mind and body is, like within Buddhism, I think the first set of knowledge, right? One of them. I think access concentration comes before. But what do you do once you understand this? Generally, it's the ability to separate mental from physical sensations and then understand the cause and effect between them, the cause of how the physical caused the mental sensations. And then you go right into 3 characteristics training, and that generally takes you the rest of the way. There's other things to speak about there, but that's pretty much it at the beginning.